In 1958, I was working at Cheltenham as an engine driver, and one of my jobs was working to Ledbury on the rail car, that ingenious device of a small steam locomotive coupled to a trailer coach which stayed coupled all day. The driver would go to the far end of the trailer coach after reaching its destination, and on the return journey control the train from that end by a system of rods. That particular Monday we arrived at Ledbury, and after the usual pleasantries when we stopped at the station, I heard the water tank cover clang open. That's funny, I thought, and stepped down onto the platform to investigate. An amazing sight greeted me. There was a large platform barrow loaded with water carriers. Well, when I say water carriers, that hardly describes the variety on the barrow. Fire buckets, coal buckets, old oil drums, anything that would hold a couple of gallons of water was there. One young porter lad was standing on the front of our loco in the process of pouring a bucket of water into our tank, while his mate was waiting to hand him another. I was tickled pink. "What's on then, chaps?" I asked. "Our water tanks are being cleaned out," said the pourer. "The driver that was on this job last week wanted to be sure we had enough water for the return trip, so our boss, the station master, got us to fill up these buckets to be sure he had enough." They continued with their act, one passing up and the other pouring in with such enthusiasm I didn't have the heart to stop them. I felt a bit guilty because in fact I didn't take on water at Ledbury on that particular job, as I always found there was enough for the round trip. But all drivers are different and have their own ways of doing the job. All the cans were at last emptied, so I shunted over to the other platform for the return journey. Guess what? There on the platform was another assortment of water containers waiting for me, and the process was repeated. Those lads worked hard. They must have poured 200 gallons of water into our tanks before we left. On the way back, I was in the coach end and musing on taking on water in such an unusual way. Halfway to Newent, the penny dropped. I'd seen this happen before in the film The Titfield Thunderbolt. In one sequence, the engine had run out of water, and to save the situation, all the passengers piled out of the carriages and formed a bucket chain to the nearest river. The film company had borrowed engine number 1401 for the film, and afterwards 1401 came back into regular service. History was being repeated, and I hadn't realised it at the time, as our engine that day was 1401. The following day, I took my camera, hoping we would have the same engine to justify my claim that I drove the Titfield Thunderbolt.
This is a short video portraying Alan Robert Davis, who was known as Bob, Great Western Railway fireman and locomotive driver. This scene is Cheltenham Spa Station in 1958. Engine number 1401, the loco used in the film The Titfield Thunderbolt, with auto coach, leaves the bay on platform 3 for Ledbury. The Prairie Tank leaves platform 2, heading for Gloucester and South Wales. Kidwelly Castle pulls into platform 1 and loads passengers for London Paddington. Tregenna Castle, heading up the Cornish Riviera Express, pulls into platform 2. Meanwhile, a through goods train passes down the central line toward one of the then new warship-fast diesel locomotives. Bob drove all these types of engines during his long career with the Great Western Railway.